테스트, 자, 제가 리방을 부득이하게 했는데요. 그 오후 시간 되면 이게 끊기는 이슈가 있어가지고요. 지금 현재 임시 방편으로는 우회 송출해서 하는 방법으로 하고 있습니다. 그래서 지금 리방을 다시 했고요. 그리고 저번에 방금 전 방송에서 페르난도 퀘스트를 다 했는데요. 미션을. 근데 메인 스토리만 했어요. 왜냐면 사이드 스토리가 저 방송하기엔 너무 부적합한 스토리라서 그 퀘스트라서 더 이상 진행하기가 힘들고 메인만 클리어하고 이제 이번에 유콘 밸리 퀘스트로 진행을 하도록 하겠습니다. 유콘 같은 경우에 좀 평이 좋거든요. 그래도 한번 체험을 해보도록 하겠습니다. 방금 전 페르난도는요, 느낌이 어떤 느낌이었냐면 약간 뭘까 좀 화사한 레이튼호스 느낌? 화사한 레이튼호스 느낌 나서 그렇게 강렬한 느낌은 없었어요. 강렬한 느낌 없고 흠화가 좀 많다 그런 느낌. 네, 자 유콘 진행하도록 하겠습니다.
Welcome to Yukon Valley, Chichiko. From up here, you're able to see almost the entire reserve. This looks like the spot to set the plane down. I'll pull up to the jetty and you can climb out. Now, good luck to you out there. Don't forget, I'm only a radio call away. I'm quite certain that you're the part of the puzzle that we've been missing out here. While I deal with paperwork and people, you're gonna be my eyes and ears on the ground. We're gonna be a strong team. I just know it.
자, 유콘 밸리 도착했고요. 자, 비행기 내려다주고 떠나가네요.
Enjoy your time out in the reserve. Confident that someone of your ability will find their way around, no problem. I look forward to seeing the results of your hunts. Since you've just arrived, there's a couple of places nearby that I'd like you to visit. You can probably see the lookout tower just up the hill from where I dropped you off. If you climb to the top, you'll get a great view of the surrounding area. There's also an outpost close to the tower. It's always good to know where you can rest your head after a day's work, right? Head to the outpost and make sure it's ready to receive visitors. I don't
근데 유콘 위치는 여기네요. 아주 끝. 캐나다 끝에 있네요. 할리퀸 덕 1클래스 동물이 있는 거 확인됐고요. 여기 방문하라고 하네요. 그리즐리 베어가 있습니다.
Once you're up top, enjoy the view. These towers are used mostly for fire watch duties. But when I'm at the top of one, Normally I just want to put my feet up and enjoy the tranquility. I haven't had a chance to do that in a long time, though. You at the top? Can you see the outpost from there? I normally do a routine check of an outpost after we've had visitors. All it takes is a forgotten half-eaten sandwich, and suddenly you have curious animals coming to investigate. Bears are temperamental neighbors, and you don't want them knocking on the door asking to borrow some
오,
sugar.
눈도 내리네요. 매드베드 타이가에서도 눈을 봤지만 여기서 눈까지 날씨가 구현되고 있네요. 카리보? 잠깐 U 클래스고 얘가 그럼 제가 콜러가 세팅이 안 된 것 같거든요. 일단은 잠깐 아웃포스트 가서 정비를 또 해야겠네요. 방금까지 화사했는데 눈 오니까 눈이 쌓이네요. 이 지형에 눈이 쌓이네요. 좀 이건 좀 특이한데요. 방금까지 화사했거든요, 여기가. 눈 오니까 눈이 쌓이네.
Welcome to Loggers Point. 100 years ago or so, felled trees would be dragged down there. Then teams would strip them down and roll them into the river. Then they'd be bundled up and towed out to the sawmills. The outpost sits on top of the old workers' campsite. I know it might seem trivial, but can you take a look at the trash can and make sure that it's locked? It's a
무수도 있고.
bear-proof trash can with a tricky catch. I don't want to take any chances. People often struggle to lock these heavy-duty trash cans, but if they leave it just a little bit open, all sorts of trouble come sniffing around. I think we got lucky this time.
자, 여기
Thanks for taking
사람들이
care of that. Oh, one last thing. Before you move on, can you take a look at the firewood inside the cabin?
자, 이 사람들이 여기 쓰레기 버리고 이거 쓰레기통 문 열어두면 곰이 냄새 맡고 습격할 수 있으니까 저보고 닫아달라고 한 겁니다. 뭐 불 켜달라고 했는데 파이어우드. 여기 있네.
Damn, this is bad news. These logs have all the signs of a beetle infestation. Let me see if I can check in with the hunters who must have cut the firewood. I have the number for their satellite phone in the log somewhere. I'll get back to you. I just found the number. I knew I had it here somewhere. I'll give the hunters who stayed here a call and see what they have to say. I'll call you back in a moment after I've landed.
자, 봅시다.
No answers from the hunters yet. I'll keep trying. There's an outpost in the forest to your northwest. If you follow the trail, you'll find it. I have a hunch that... Oh, phone's ringing. I'll call you back when I get some answers from these guys about where they cut the wood. Head to the forest outpost in the meantime. I'll bet that's where they were.
정식 세팅으로 세팅하고 가겠습니다. 자, 볼까요? 자, 아까 본 것만 보면 일단 무스 있었거든요. 무스 있었고 곰? 곰 있었는데 곰? 그리즐리 베어. 그냥 베어스로 통합하네요. 이거 곰 하면 이걸로도 하면 될 것 같고. 그리고 아까 이름이 좀 특이한 게 있었는데 카리브였었나? 그 동물 홀로는 없는 것 같네요. 일단 좀 더 이렇게 좀 사냥해 보면서 파악을 해보겠습니다. 시작부터 멀리 저기 가보라고 하네요. 일단은 이동하는 것밖에 지금 없으니까 이동하는 건 빠르게 이동하겠습니다. 아, 이 안에 있구나. 아, 이 길 오랜만이네. 레이튼 호수에 있던 길이거든요.
I had a chat with the hunters who chopped the logs we found at Loggers Point. Turns out that the cabin had been out of firewood, so they'd gone looking for a fallen tree to carve up. You are now in the same forest they were when they found our beetle-infested tree. Hey, I see you're near the forest outpost. Once you get up there, Take a look in the cabin. There should be a backpack with some supplies in it. When you find it, just grab the whole pack.
자, 백팩 들어라. 이 안에 있는데?
That's the one. Once you're done at the outpost, take a look in the surrounding forest. Can you find any fallen trees in that area? The spruce bark beetles are a massive threat to Alaska's spruce forests at the moment. We haven't been hit as badly compared to some other Alaskan state parks, but I think that it may be time for a quarantine. Okay, so once you find a fallen tree, I want you to take a look at its bark. Does it look healthy? If so, it's probably not the tree we're looking for. This is the one. Okay, in that pack you should have a canister of paint and a nozzle attachment. Use them to paint a big pink X on the tree. And let's take a look around to make sure the beetles haven't started to spread. If you see a spruce in the immediate vicinity of the fallen tree, mark it. And our forestry team will come out and take care of it. If it's untouched, they can just spray it with pesticides to protect it. If it's already infested, then they'll cut it down and haul it away for burning.
또 있나 주변에?
Great job.
이거
I hope
하나씩
we
찾아야
don't need to
되는구나.
cut these trees down, but it's the small price to pay to contain the beetles. There we go. Another tree marked. This reminds me of my summer breaks when I was a kid, helping out my dad at work. He was a tree surgeon down in Washington State. I used to resent him for making me go out there and work while my friends played back home. Eventually, those trips also included hunting lessons, and that made them my favorite parts of the summer. That should do. I'll get in touch with the foresters. They can investigate the area and cut down what they need to. I'll make sure that they also pick up the firewood at Loggers Point. Don't want to take any chances. Thanks for taking care of this. It's becoming a full-on phobia of mine that these beetles are going to destroy the forest here. We sprayed pesticides across the western edge of the forest as a preventative measure earlier this month. But any new chemicals in the air, soil, or water make me uneasy. In
이쪽으로
the same
가라고
bag that you
하네요.
found the paint, there should be some plastic sample containers. Could you bring them out to the wetlands? Muskeg is the word we use up here in Alaska.
자, 온 김에 이 가까이 있는 거 하나 체크하고 가죠. 오.
A blight. We won't let the beetles get a foothold in our reserve.
오호. 이게 잔 나무들이 많네요.
You're going to be grabbing some samples out there. So one of our research teams can test pesticides to make sure they aren't having any effect on the ecology. This is actually my wife Sandy's idea. She runs the Yukon Valley Nature Center, so she's working closely with a visiting research team. Water putting in the water's edge. The last time I brought both of my daughters here to spot one of the containers. They told me that all the bird spotting in the world wasn't worth the smell. Turned out that a bear had left a rotting moose carcass in the summer sun. I decided to spot birds somewhere else, just in case the bear came back for seconds. The pesticides we're using on the forest to prevent beetle infestation are effective, but I still have my doubts about the effects on other wildlife. The flats are one of our most biodiverse regions, so I can't risk introducing anything dangerous into the water or the food chain. Nicely done. First time I was there, I misjudged how stable the edge of a pond was and ended up with one leg knee deep in the water. I was a rookie at the time, and luckily nobody saw it happen. Can you grab a second sample from a body of water, slightly further away from the forest? Can you take some samples from the water beside the forest first? We sprayed a section of the forest western edge last month, so I want to know if things have changed since then. That should do for water samples. Next up, I need you to find me some animal droppings in this region. The muskeg is a hotbed of animal activity, so you should find droppings quite easily. If the pesticide has drifted out to the flat, I want to know if it's making it into the food chain. It's been a month since we sprayed, so there's been plenty of time for the pesticides to get out here.
자, 보면은 다른 두 종의 똥을 모으라고 하는데 머스키그 이게 여긴가? 머스키그? 머스키그 아까 저 물 쪽이 머스키그인 것 같은데 명칭이 안 나와 있네. 머스킷. 어, 머스킷. 일단 물쭉 가보죠. 일단 물쭉 가보고 가면서 여기 찍는 거 보고. 동물 흔적. 동물 흔적 따라다니 보면 똥이 있거든요. 있죠. 바로 카리보. 이게 얘가 없네. 얘 콜러가 없어요.
That's what we're looking for. Perfect. Could you find a sample from a different species as well? It's better to grab a larger sample size while you're already there in the field.
자, 하나 카운팅 올라갔죠. 그러면 이제 딴 걸 좀 해보면 될 텐데. 잠시만요. 얘가 걘데요. 유클래스. 술록같이 생겼네요. 양쪽 패를 맞으니까 금방 죽었네요. 얘 말고 다른 애 똥물 찾아야 되거든요. 헌팅 스탠드였고, 다른 동물들이 없나 이 근처에? 뭐 가다 보면 있겠죠. 여유롭게 풍경도 좀 즐기면서 가보겠습니다. 흔적이 있다. 플레임 바이슨. 여기도 바이슨 있네. 오호호. 오호호. 이거 왜 이렇게 흔들리지? 이 에임 조절하는 방법을 좀 바꿔야 되나요? 왜 이렇게 흔들리지? 바이슨 따라가면 똥을 쌌겠죠? 뭐야 이거? 여기 어떻게 지나간 거지? 그냥 가면 되나? 가면 되네요. 똥 찾았다.
That should do it. Now we'll be able to tell if anything larger than a fly is ingesting chemicals that we should be worried about. It's hard work wading through the muskeg, huh? I have a spot where you can drop the samples off, and I can easily pick them up. Oh, I just remembered. I've been speaking with my wife about the work you've been doing, and she mentioned a few tasks that she has on her plate that I think you could help her with. I gave her your number, so expect to hear from her. She's working on some very important studies at the moment. Hang on a second. I'm getting a call. Okay, I'm back. Slight change of plans. Before you drop off the samples, I need you to grab a hatchet from the outpost at the western edge of the flats. We have a bit of a situation out in the northwest corner of the reserve, and you're perfectly placed to take care of it. It looks like storms have weakened the roots of a tree, which is about to collapse onto the train tracks. Let me know when you grab the hatchet.
어, 2.6km라서 이거 차 타고 가야 되겠네요. 봅시다. 여기까지 쭉 가야 되네요. 쭉 가고 꺾으면 되겠네요. 이거 왜 두 개가 나오지? 잠시만. 아. 일단 가고. 오. 여기 꺾기 전에 전망대 한번 찍고 가죠. 그러면 이제 퀘스트 지역으로 가보겠습니다. 아, 뭐야 이거? 이렇게 멀었었나? 머네요. 사진 다리가 포함 4개. 오, 다리가 엄청 멋있네. 여기서 하는 거. 아, 거기 갔을 때 여기 찍어 놓을 걸. 아, 벌써 초반에는 뭐 맵 다 열어야 되니까요. 드라이브 하기 좋은 맵이네요. 이런 거만 빼고. 도착했습니다. 자, 여기서 이제 화살표가 왜 여기 있지? 여기
You got the
있구나.
hatchet? Great. I hope our visitors haven't been using it to open their beans. You're gonna need a nice sharp edge. It's small, but it should do the job. There's a lake just to the north of the flats. I'll be flying over it on my way home. If you drop that stuff off there, I can jump out, grab it, and get it to one of our ecological research teams today, instead of you having to walk around with a bag full of droppings and swamp water.
Drop sample at the marked location. 또 뭐 엄청 머네 또. 왜 이렇게 먼 곳에 머리 맞아버렸다.
The samples ready for pickup? Fantastic. I'll be over that way as soon as I can. I really appreciate the assistance. Hunting for droppings and wading into swamp water might not be glamorous or exciting, but it's part of a massive effort to maintain the balance of life out here. It makes a big difference. You ready to head out to the tracks? Just knowing that tree is hanging over the train track is making me anxious. It's a little bit of a hike, but it's worth it to see the rail bridge. Let me know once you've found the tree. With any luck, it won't take you long to clear it out of the way.
후반 DLC 들어오면서 점점 이동하라는 그런 미션들이 많네요. 초반에는 막 사냥하라는 게 많았는데
Getting close to the tree that threatens to fall on the track. I'm guessing it was loosened in a recent storm. Yukon Valley tends to get a few lightning storms in the summer, but we do a thorough job of preparing. So we only saw a couple of small fires that went out on their own. I've only ever seen one landslide. It's hard to tell what caused this tree to tip over. I guess the big question is how to do this shocking display of natural force. But I trust you to get the job done. It was all I could do to land the plane. I hope the storm with a hatchet. Some of my team are still recording the after effects of the storms. I've heard reports of huge trees with deep roots that are now at precarious angles and might need to be cut down. We're lucky to have such isolated incidents. Other reserves have reported landslides.
나무를 자르라고요? 아, 이제 이게 철로를 막으니까.
Great work out there. The train is behemoth. I honestly don't think a single tree would do more than dent it in a collision. But I'd rather not take the chance and risk a serious accident. Speaking of the train, it's due to pass by at any moment. I'd stay clear of the tracks if I were you. Keeping that railroad open is a big responsibility for us. Not only is it essential for a lot of trade out here, but the bridge brings tourists in from all over the place. I'd like a good picture of the bridge, one that we can put on our website. See if you can snap it while the train is passing over it. That'll look great. I used to come out to this corner of the reserve with my family. We'd spend long weekends camping. And I teach my youngest daughter, Kara, how to shoot. My older daughter, Deanna, was still an angry teenager who needed convincing to take part in any activity. She'd always be laughing and having fun by the end of the trip, though. Those trips are some of my favorite memories. It brought us all closer as a family. Being alone, together. Here's me talking about my family vacations when I can't even remember the last time I had dinner with my wife. Her birthday was what? A month ago? I think I'm probably overdue to take her out somewhere nice. That looks like a good spot to take the photo. That's the shot we needed. It's a shame we couldn't catch it with the train on top, but it's still good. I'll send this picture over to Sandy. Her team takes care of the Yukon Valley website. Next up, head over to an outpost that we're replacing. Not too far from where you are just now. The cabin was lost in the Teton forest fire 2 years ago, and we're in the process of replacing it with a temporary trailer. equipped with some more modern facilities. Due to the level of damage that was sustained by this area of the reserve, it has attracted several researchers who would like to perform long-term studies of the region. Yukon Forest will host our first research outpost trial. Oh, and in case you were unaware, Yukon is the native word for wolf. The fire destroyed part of the forest, but the wolves are still out there. I'd make sure you keep your rifle fully loaded at all times while you're in wolf country. I look forward to your call when you find the outpost. I saw the fires that tore through that forest, and I still struggle to accept just how quickly the
산불이 여기
landscape
있었네요.
transformed into smoldering ash. Believe it or not, we got lucky. It could have been a lot worse. Maybe lucky isn't the right word. We lost too much. This is the Basri Memorial Outpost, or at least it will be once you get it up and running. Ranger Crawford has left the supplies that we need for the finishing touches. He was going to set it up himself, but his wife went into labor just as he got here, so he had to rush back to town. The workstations look like they're ready to go. If this trial goes well, we might see more researchers setting up camp across the reserve. For now, though, let's get things powered up. The supplies will include fuel for the generator.
여기 보면 더헌터 게임 아이콘이 있어요. 응? 연료?
Just stick a little fuel in the generator and fire it up. And we're in business. Good. I'll let our researchers know they're welcome to visit when they're ready. Of course, you can sleep here and restock your supplies, just like any other outpost. The outpost is just the first part of our restoration efforts. The supply should contain a couple of things that you're going to need for your next job. Planting new saplings. Take the bag and sapling and the shovel, and let me mark the spot each one for that. It's a tough road ahead for this part of the reserve. The fire burned away a huge chunk of the forest, but with any luck, the program of replanting will gradually bring life back. I hope to see it happen in my lifetime. I was in Yukon Forest during the night of the fire. We predicted a few spots as potential fire sites, and we're doing our best to prepare. But there were too few of us, and too much ground cover. I sent most of the team away when the storm rolled over us. It was getting too dangerous. You're in the right spot. I haven't been out to that corner of the reserve for quite a while now. 3 saplings should be enough for now. Can you see the shell of the old tree? It was the first casualty when it was struck by lightning and went up in flames. We lost more than the trees that night.
오, 시네마틱.
It took less than 5 minutes for the blaze to take hold and travel towards us. Our rookie trooper, Main+Side, was the only one not accounted for. Andrew! Where are you? When I found his radio, a part of me knew straight away that we'd lost him. I wanted to go further in and look for him, but the fire was impenetrable. The wall of heat was advancing and I couldn't stay there. I just made it out before the fire consumed where I'd been standing seconds before. We went back as soon as the fires had died down and started looking. We found him, but it was as we'd feared. The outpost here is dedicated to him. We all take a special interest in overseeing the restoration of the area where we lost him. Naturally, it was a tough time for the whole team, but it brought us closer together. We supported each other and Brasry's family. You do what you can, right? We devoted ourselves to our work, and we work to ensure it never happens again. Today's undertaking to replace lost trees is another step in revitalizing Yukon Forest. On my last flyby, I definitely saw some movement down there. Can you scout around for tracks in the burnt forest? I'm keen to see what animals are returning to the region.
주변에 아까 오면서 몇 개 본 것 같긴 한데. 아웃포스트 그리고 여기 찍었는데 안 나오네요. 있다. 하나 올라갔고. 까지 하면 3개? 아, 그레이브 똑같은 그레이브네. 늑대가
We can
주변에
limit the
있네.
fires that are being started by people, but the lightning strikes where it wants.
늑대 암컷, 수컷해서 지금 2개 된 것 같거든요. 늑대 소리. 뭐야, 왜 발자국 소리야? 아, 저기 늑대들이 많다. 심장이 왜 이렇게 뛰어?
Finding tracks out there is a good sign. There might not be a lot of cover or food yet, but at least some animals are starting to come back. I don't have any more work for you out in the
동물들
Yukon
돌아온다고
forest,
했는데
but I just received a message from a research team that could probably use a little assistance. Let me speak with them, and I'll be in touch with you shortly. I have a new job for you. One of Yukon Valley's research teams have asked if we can help them to fix a piece of the equipment they're using to track animals around the reserve. There is a box of parts that you'll need to pick up, sitting in one of our outposts. I'll mark it on your map. Normally, I'd tell them we're too busy for this, but they need to wrap up their research before winter settles on the reserve. It'll be a much easier job if we help them out, and I'd like to keep working with them next year. I'll call you when you're getting close to the outpost.
여기로 아부사 여긴가? 아, 잘 안 죽네. 잘 쐈는데 피가 많은가 봐요. 원체 잘 안 죽네. 바로 안 죽네요. 얘는 뭐 좀 잘 못 쐈고.
At any one time, Yukon Valley is hosting at least 5 different scientific studies. A lot of them are a simple case of setting up some recording equipment and leaving it to record data. But some involve a more hands-on approach. The parts are being stored in that outpost. They should be good to go. I wish I could do more to help with the studies. I don't get to use my biological science degree as much as I'd like, but it helps me when it comes to working with research teams and their ilk. That's what we're looking for. Next step is using those parts to fix a radio relay that is being used to track animals. The relay is part of a lookout tower. According to the researchers, it should be an easy fix. I'm hoping that tech trials like this tracking system will help Yukon Valley stand out as a hub of scientific research here in Alaska. Speaking of research, I have your samples on board now. With any luck, I'll have them handed over for testing before the end of the day. You're close to the tower. Find the relay's control panel and open it up. Your replacement parts should slot right in. I guess now we'll find out just how much of an easy fix it is. You did it? It's working? Fantastic. I will check in with the researchers to let them know it's fixed. They probably noticed that their equipment's range has just risen dramatically. I just called the research team and they've confirmed that the relay is working now. They've asked if you could take a look at one of their trackers that has been dormant for the last 13 hours or so. They weren't sure if the lack of movement had been due to poor signal, but now they're certain that something's happened. I'll forward the details.
와우. 우와. 무슨 리즈줄까요? 플레임 바이슨.
patrols got it. But something scared them off before they could really finish their meal. Grab the collar and you're good to go. Okay, I think we're done here. Let's move on before anything comes sniffing around. The researchers have been using Copper Bowl Lake Outpost as their base camp, and you can drop the collar off there. Don't expect company, though. The research team are always out and about.
아까 바이슨 있었는데? 바이슨 떼들이 대이동하네요. 아하. 쫓아가 볼까요? 우와! 갑자기 돌격해 오네. 또 온다고? 여기까지 하죠 이건.
I knew I could count on you to get the job done. You're becoming my ambassador out here, and I gotta say, your work so far has impressed me. At this rate, I'll actually be able to do some paperwork today. Seems a little strange to be excited about that, I guess. Hopefully, I'll manage to spend some time with my wife this month. Now that I remember, I gave your number to Oscar, the researcher in charge of this particular population study. He and I work well enough together, but you'll be better placed to help him out. You might have already heard from him about work he needs help with. He injured his knee in the summer, so he's a little behind schedule. During my last flyby, I noticed that there were people walking around inside of the Millerwood mine complex. The entire complex is closed to the public, but that hasn't stopped some people from trying to explore the buildings. I'd like you to head over there. Make sure that the place is still secure. The mine's buildings have been sealed since the mine closing occurred. We occasionally get curious tourists, but once they see the no trespassing sign, they tend to take their pictures and move on without getting too close. The warnings are mainly for the benefit of tourists anyway. They keep an eye on the place, but it isn't maintained. If you're injured out here, it's a long walk to find help. I suppose this is a good time to remind you, be careful while you're out there. There's been talks of reopening the mine as a museum, but the cost of renovating the place is staggering, especially when you consider that we need to build a road just to reach it. There's a couple of groups that could be the trespassers. We logged a pair of men that entered the reserve a few days ago, but they're here on a hunting trip with a respected guide. I'm very surprised he brought them anywhere near here. The other group I know about is a film crew that asked for our help to shoot a documentary about what they call local folklore. Apparently they toured the USA hunting for monsters or aliens or something. A place as wild as this has its stories, of course. From native Alaskan myths to the tall tales of drunken gold miners. I've been here for almost 2 decades. I've only seen a Bigfoot twice. In church.
교통사고. 아, 아, 뒤에서 엄청 오고 있었네요. 들소들이. 다시 가. 온 김에 총알을 좀 사야겠다. 요걸 좀 바꿀게요. 총알 일단 사고 바이슨 시원시원하게 잡는 걸로 바꿔요. 바이슨 이게 또 시원시원하게 잡거든요. 다시. 이거 데자뷰인가?
Yukon Valley postcards. Everyone snaps a picture of Millerwood Mine. Millerwood doesn't have a lot of hiding places. The buildings are still all locked up. It should be a quick search. Whoever was here has probably moved on. I want to be certain. Take a look around the complex. My last inspection was 6 months ago and all the buildings are secure. Let me know if you see anything suspicious. Nothing but ash left now. Oh, and they kicked down one of our keep out signs. Would you replant it, please? Is that door locked? It should be. Nobody's getting in there. The lock has done its job.
여기로 올라가야 되나?
Knocking down a no trespassing sign must be the bush country equivalent of smashing someone's mailbox with a baseball bat. We don't get many bored teenagers roaming the reserve, mind you. There's a door. Check it out. This building is secure. The lock's still in place. Unless they're digging their own mine, I don't think the shovel is a recent addition.
그냥 게임에서 추리 게임 돼버렸네.
I'm trying to think of something less suspicious than a minecart out here. Nothing springs to mind. Something's not right here. This door should be locked. The building's empty? I don't know why they'd want to be in here anyway. I'm going to call Gabriella Baden's film crew. The one I was telling you about. I just want to make sure it's not them who have been breaking into the buildings. Is that the phone I'm calling? Not much point in me calling it now, huh? I didn't expect this from a professional film crew. What possessed them to enter this building? I need to speak to them about what they've done here. That phone you picked up is the only way I had of contacting them. So we're gonna have to track them down. Given their total lack of bushcraft or respect for their surroundings, it should hopefully be an easy trail to follow. If they were trying to find valuables, this is probably the most inviting building. You've done a lot to help, but this is gonna need an officer on site just in case things get ugly. I'm on my way. Look, to your east, there's a column of smoke. It looks like it's coming from close to one of our lookouts. I told you they'd be easy to track. Let's catch up with them before they set the whole forest ablaze.
Locate the camp. 색채가 예쁘네요. 유콘.
found their camp. Where are they? Look at the mess around here. It looks like something big has turned the place upside down. Take a look around their camp and see if there's anything that can tell us where they went. Our first concern is that fire. Douse it, will you? What's this? Notes on their show, maybe? Oh, it's a script. Wow. She's dedicated it to her younger self. Look, a notepad. Interior haunted mine. Explains a little bit about their trespassing. No, surely not. Looks a lot like dogs ignorant town don't consider baiting animals out here. Well, this tells the story of some truly bizarre people, but it doesn't help us find them. Someone's screaming, but I can't see it. Get to the lookout. Maybe you'll see something that I can't. I've got them. They're here, coming out of the forest. What the? One of them is covered in blood. They've seen me. Hey! Over here! Make your way to me! Get into the plane! Everyone is on board. It looks like a bear attacked one of them. She needs a doctor right now. I can't wait around. We're taking off.
비행기
I've
보이네요.
got this. Heading back to base. We'll have a doctor standing by. Can you take care of their camp? We can't have it lying around, attracting bears. Hey there, Chichiko. I'll bet you have a lot of questions that you want to ask me, huh? Before you start, let me just give you the highlights. Baden's face and shoulder were pretty torn up. She took a swipe from a fully grown grizzly, all while her friends accidentally, or should I say incidentally, bear sprayed her. The spray likely saved her life, though. They thought that a .22 pistol was enough protection against grizzlies. So as well as spraying the bear, they shot it in the side. I've seen bears shrug off spray and even larger caliber rounds. So I'd say these guys are lucky it decided to run off, instead of making it angrier. Anyway, Baden's in surgery this morning. The bear's claws gave her some nasty head wounds, and it was able to sink its teeth into her shoulder before running off. She'll be out of it for a few days. I'll question her when doctors say she's ready. I have to say, you handled yesterday well, Chichiko. You kept a level head, even when things went off the rails. I've had rookie troopers under my care who would have struggled in the same scenario. It's entirely possible that you saved that film crew's lives. Not only did you help to solve a crime that led to us saving some woefully underprepared, let's just say, explorers, shall we? You took care of the mess at the mine, and at their camp, too. It's not like this is the first big impact your work has had on the reserve. You helped us to quarantine a potentially devastating infestation of spruce bark beetles. You assisted with scientific research programs and helped us to safeguard Yukon Valley's future. I know it might have seemed counterintuitive to hire a professional hunter when the plan was to protect Yukon Valley's wildlife, but I know that I made the right choice. Your work out here will have far-reaching repercussions for not only the forests, plains, and lakes, but everything that lives here as well. And that includes me. At first, the plan was for you to take over a lot of my informal duties, the tasks that aren't officially part of my job, but are essential to the running of the reserve. Maintaining populations, containing threats, and gathering samples for scientific research. All great reasons for hiring a professional hunter. But I told you before that I was looking for someone who understands Yukon Valley. Someone I could trust to take care of it, the same way I do. Your recent time here has been a trial of sorts, helping me to prepare the reserve for winter. I feel like the reserve is ready now, and that's largely thanks to your efforts. Sandy might have told you, but she's delighted that you've had this effect on the reserve. In this past week, we've spent more time together than we had done in the entire previous month. In fact, now that the reserve is ready for winter, and I have my ambassador out there, I'm making plans to take Sandy and my girls on a trip somewhere nice. What do you think? Beach, lake, skiing trip? I'll ask Sandy tonight when I get home. Oh, and when I get back from my vacation, you and I should discuss your contract. Winter in the Yukon is no picnic, but I'd like to invite you to stay on indefinitely, if you're interested. You'll be an old sourdough like me in no time.
아, 메인 스토리 미션이 끝났네요. 여기는 여기는 더 빨리 끝나는데요? 2시간에 끝나버렸네. 여기는 스토리가 그냥 이동하면서 아웃포스터 찍어주는 그런 용도의 퀘스트네요. 여기 찍고 뭐 일단은 스토리 미션이 끝났기 때문에 이제 남은 건 사이드 미션이거든요. 사이드 미션도 다 하기 때문에 사이드 미션도 진행할 건데, 이전에 제가 다른 전 맵을 하고 온 상태라서 지금 페르난도 끝내고 유콘 온 거거든요. 그래서 유콘 지금 스토리 미션 다 완료한 상태에서 사이드 미션은 다음 방송 때 이어서 하도록 하겠습니다. 뭐 거의 분위기는 이런 분위기가 되는 것 같네요. 예를 들어서 스토리 미션은 그냥 이제 점점 가볍게 컴팩트하게 이런 아웃포스트 같은 중요한 포인트를 찍어주는 용도로 쓰이고요. 지금 제가 지나온 데가 그냥 아웃포스트 여기 찍고 여기 찍고 이런 식으로 여기 찍고 아웃포스트 찍으면서 이동하니까 끝났거든요. 그런 식으로 이제 진행이 되고, 주로 사냥하는 미션은 이제 사이드 미션으로 빠졌나봐요. 예전에는 스토리 미션에도 사냥하는 미션들이 있었거든요. 근데 이제는 사냥하는 미션들은 다 스토리로 아니고 사이드로 빠지고, 스토리는 이제 제일 처음 시작할 때 맵 여는 그런 거를 좀 도와주는 그런 용도로 바뀐 것 같아요. 유콘 다음 방송 때 이어서 사이드 미션 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 시청해주신 시청자 여러분 감사합니다.